Online at abtrustco.com. American Business Trust Company.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
California headline news. Rains continuing to fall in areas of Southern California where fires burned earlier this year, posing the threat of mudslides and debris flows. Residents in West Malibu communities already facing a long road to recovery.
Not working, no electricity, no internet, no mail, no cell phone service, nothing.
Everything we hear is keep out, hard closure, stay out.
Nearly a month since the destructive Woolsey fire tore through the area, crews working to restore utilities say they'll be busy for at least another week. Supervisors in Santa Cruz County approving a ban of little soap bottles in hotels, calling on them to use bulk dispensers instead.
So eventually, sure, they may get to the point where they have to be disposed of, but that'll be, once, maybe twice a year, maybe not even that often.
Save Our Shore spokesperson Catherine O'Day, some 23,000 bottles of soap and shampoo are disposed of each year by Santa Cruz County hotels. Rain continuing in the Southern California region, clearing today up north. Jeff Scott, California News.
At AT&T, we believe that access to affordable home internet brings incredible opportunities. Explore a digital world of possibilities and connect with family, friends, and the things that matter most. That's why there's access from AT&T. If you are a California resident and a member of your household participates in SNAP or receives SSI benefits, you may qualify for home internet at a discounted rate of $10 a month. No commitment, no deposit, no installation fee. Plus, get an in-home Wi-Fi gateway at no extra cost. Call 1-855-220-5211 or visit att.com/aware to learn more.
SNAP refers to the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SSI refers to the Federal Supplemental Security Income Program. Pricing excludes taxes and fees. Service will include a monthly data allowance depending on the type and speed of service you receive. If you exceed your monthly data plan allowance, you will be automatically charged $10 for each 50 gigabytes of data usage in excess of your data plan, even if less than 50 gigabytes is used. For details about data allowances, go to att.com/internet-usage. Wi-Fi enabled device required. Other restrictions apply.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. Former President George H.W. Bush's journey to his final resting place is over. The 41st President of the United States was laid to rest today after passing away last week at the age of 94. The ceremony at his presidential library in College Station, Texas, included a flyover and a 21-gun salute. President Trump is planning to announce tomorrow morning that he wants State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert to be the next U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Multiple reports say the president plans to nominate Nauert to replace outgoing UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. The president's also strongly considering nominating a man who worked for George H.W. Bush's administration to be the next Attorney General. William Barr served in that position for Bush from 1991 to 1993. The United States trade deficit is at a 10-year high.
The Commerce Department said Thursday the trade deficit rose 1.7% to $55.5 billion in October. That's the highest since October 2008. Soybean exports are falling while the importation of consumer goods has hit a record high. September numbers were revised to show the deficit rising to $54.6 billion, up from the $54 billion previously reported. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
The Democrat in the controversial North Carolina 9th Congressional District election is withdrawing his concession. Dan McCready tweeted that he didn't serve in the Marines to come home and watch a criminal take away people's right to vote. Passengers are safe but shaken after a Southwest Airlines flight at Hollywood Burbank Airport hydroplaned on the runway.
The plane started to sway. I was in the back of the plane, so we probably felt it more than the people in the front. And I was like, okay, this isn't normal.
Came in smoothly, and then we came to a really fast stop. It felt like we came to a really hard stop at the end, and that's when we went off and into that soft substance.
A safety system on the runway prevented the plane from crashing through a fence onto Hollywood Way. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Are you having trouble sleeping? Are you always tired and worn out? Is it affecting your work and personal life? Well, South Pacific Sleep Lab can help you out. South Pacific Sleep Lab provides a personal study of your sleep patterns. With their trained specialists, they will diagnose your sleep habits and will give you a prognosis for getting a great relaxing night of sleep. South Pacific Sleep Lab has locations throughout Southern California, including Fontana, and will provide transportation to any of their locations at no cost to you. To find out more, give them a call at 844-SAD-5050. That's 844-SAD-5050.
5050. South Pacific Sleep Lab. Start resting easy and sleeping sound today.
Psst. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you know where you are? Well, you've done it now. You're listening to KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station. So expect the unexpected.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Water Zone Show, and we're broadcasting live and unfortunately not in color because we don't broadcast videos here today.
It's tough to do that.
It's tough to do that, but I'm here with Miss Ingy Visconta, our ag lady who does everything. I call her Ingypedia, and Mr. Chris Davies, who is a joy to work with.
Thank you.
And I have to think of a different name for you.
Okay, just don't come up with something right now because I might be embarrassed.
Yeah, I'll let you know first. But anyway, we're here at the Long Beach Convention Center for the Irrigation Association Education Conference and Exhibit, and it's been a great 2 days, actually for us. But the event's been going on all week.
Yeah,
and tomorrow.
Right, the actual show dates were December 3rd through the 7th, and then the actual exposition dates were the 5th and the 6th, which was yesterday and today. And when they talk about irrigation, right, this show just doesn't cover just simply irrigation as a one-word cover-all, but all the agriculture, landscape, golf, nursery, floriculture, and even all sports turf.
And you can do that without reading.
I can do that. So all of that in one place, a really jam-packed exposition, a place to go if you really are into the water business, or if you just want to learn a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. Well, we have our always welcome, the purveyor of Maven's Notebook, Ms. Chris Austin. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing really good. I'm going to
Did you get a lot of rain in Long Beach today?
I was going to ask Nick if he could raise your voice a little louder.
Okay. Am I louder?
Yep. No, you're fine, but I
really
need
loud.
Nick to turn it up a little bit on his end, on the studio side. So tell us what's going on. What's new and exciting in the world of water, except it rained hard today?
Oh, boy. Well, we're all glad to see it raining, no doubt. But I guess the big news today was that some environmental groups sent a letter to the governor, and they said that these voluntary settlements that they've been working on in the San Joaquin River as part of this update to the Water Quality Control Plan, they said they don't cut the mustard. What they've seen just isn't good enough, and they believe the State Water Board should take a vote. And the State Water Board is scheduled to vote next week. So, we're going to see how this all plays out. I've been not very optimistic on these voluntary settlements because it's my understanding that those in the particularly affected watershed of the San Joaquin River are very opposed to, making a settlement that's going to cause them to give up water. They were pretty adamant a year ago, although I was at the conference last week and people were saying, things might have changed. They might be singing a different tune, but I don't know. But at least what we know today is the environmental groups are saying this voluntary settlement isn't really working out here. But we haven't heard from the actual people trying to make the settlement. So we'll see how that goes.
So you called it right the last time.
Yeah, it's really hard. Water is a lot of things, and one of the things that water is it's money, it's economy, it's farmers growing crops and food, it's developers building houses, In the long run, what it all sort of boils down to, except for the environmental environmental purposes is, it's really economic. Economic, I guess you can almost characterize it economics versus, the environment. It's a really tough situation. We need to do better for our fish in the rivers if we wish to continue to have fish in our rivers, but it's going to come with some cost, and it's really hard to contemplate for a lot of people. I'm glad I don't have to make the decision. I'll say that.
Yeah, it is a tough decision, but we have to remember that it's not just the fish in the river. People kind of focus on that and think, well, what is the value of that fish in the river? But it's actually beyond that. There may be the canary in the coal mine, and if the fish in the river aren't healthy, then neither are the humans, because we have to have an environment to sustain humanity, too. So that's the impasse, as I see it.
Well, and, I like to eat, so I like farmers, and I appreciate what they do. So,
sure.
It's really tough. I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. But, we should not devalue agriculture because we definitely need agriculture. And because we have farmers out in the field bringing in food, we can live in the cities and we don't have to go out and grow our own food. But there's also the flip side is there's fish and there's fishermen and there's salmon fishermen and people who like to eat salmon, and they'll tell you kind of the same thing. It's, it's just a really tough thing.
Well, if we have to let the government make that decision, somebody's going to be unhappy.
Yeah, well, and actually, if we get into a situation where everybody is unhappy, then that's probably, ironically, the best thing, because then nobody will have won all of what they wanted, and everything is a balancing act. So, I guess the good news is that if everybody is miserable, then the State Water Board has probably done a decent job of balancing. But that's the hard part. Is they have to balance. The State Water Board cannot solely choose fish. It cannot solely choose farmers. It has to somehow figure out how to make a decision that is, shares the wealth and shares the pain at the same time. And that's really difficult.
Yeah. So what do you think happened with all the rain that happened in L.A., and where did it all go? In the ocean today?
Well, we do have stormwater projects, and we are trying to catch that. There are, especially up on the Santa Ana River, in Orange County, they've really got this sort of thing nailed down. They have rubber dams that they put up in the river to hold the water there to let it sink into the aquifers. So I do believe, to the extent in some watersheds in some areas, a lot is being done to capture it. Can we capture more? Sure. Sure we can. The trick to stormwater projects is they're kind of expensive and distributed, but, they're expensive, I think. And, but we need to be doing a better job of catching, of all of our water sources, and that includes, doing a better job of catching stormwater. But it didn't all flow out to the ocean today. There are numerous agencies, especially in Orange County, that are really set up to handle this. So.
Yeah, we've really enhanced our snowpack this last week, too, correct?
Yes, we have a snowpack.
Yes, isn't that nice? We have some storage. We have some White Mountains. Sierra Nevadas are now appropriately named again.
Even the San Gabriel's here.
Yes, yes.
Nice and white top,
and
white
we will
cap.
cross our fingers. What we've had happen is we've had nice wet falls that turn into January and Februarys that are dry as a bone. So what we want to, hopefully the rain and the precipitation and the storms will keep coming. Enough to give us plenty of rain and plenty of snow, but not to flood or cause mudslides.